going on, boys? We're back at the desk. Yeah, there goes my cat. Bastards. Died. Yeah, if you'll notice, everything's gone. I took everything off it. I am in the process of drilling rivets. Yeah, it looks a lot better than it did. I'm knocking them down. The sanding stick. I'm then going back in and I'm rescribing the line down the middle. I got a couple of scribers. And then I've been taking my little drill and just making nub holes. That's my word for it. That's how much I got done. I'm taping it off so I can keep them straight. And I will go around and I'm going to do every rivet. Matter of fact, once I got the plans, there are actually rivets where there are not on this model. And what the hell do you expect a bunch of Ukrainians? What the hell do they know about the freaking Hunley? Because that's where this model is from, is the Ukraine. But anyway, all around here, you can see that shoulder. That's supposed to have rivets in it. All around the snorkel box, that's supposed to have rivets all the way around it. This from here to the end, I think it's right here it stops. And that's on either end. From here to here, up top. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can be able to see it. But right up top here, you can just barely make it out. That's supposed to be all rivets. That is supposed to be all rivets. One on either side. So those have to be done. And like I said, all around here has to be done. Nothing down the middle, but around the snorkel box and both conning towers. I still have to do the strake. This was called the strake plate. It's ran down the side of the ship on both sides. A little history on the. I'll talk about the crank. The hand crank for the propeller. The hand crank for the propeller it came apart. Okay? It was all put together, and when it was put together offset. So that it was built offset for two reasons. I'll draw this. If you were looking down it'd be a handle. If you were looking down it, that's what it would have looked like. There was a handle, so that number one, the screw was continually moving. Okay? And number two, or I should say, that was number two. The number one reason, the real reason that it was done, is because if all of these were in a straight line, so in other words, if you look down this, and that's all you saw, all the way down, the cranking motion would have made the ship do this from the cranking motion. So that was the number one reason why all those handles were offset. And then the second reason was so that there would be continuous motion. There was always somebody going around a crank. It was always a crank going around. Okay? So that's why it was offset. And it all came apart. They could put it all back. They could put it together. I guess you could unbolt it and pull it apart. I'm sure you could put it back in, in any configuration you wanted. But that's why all those handles were offset like that. So that is a little bit of Hunley history for today. I have a little bit more of. It's a little bit more of. Do I have time? Yeah, we'll try it. This submarine during trials when it was in New Orleans on Lake Pontchartrain. Well, during that time that they were doing testing, the North was coming down and raiding New Orleans and Louisiana, because we got the New Orleans and Louisiana pretty early on in the war, and so what had happened was, as the North was getting closer, were having sea trials, and it sank. And the first time it sank, they lost all hands. They lost 5 actually. 3 got out, 5 did not. The second time it sank, they had to leave it on the bottom of the lake for over 10 days because the North was so close to New Orleans, and they didn't want the North to know what was going on. So somehow after that it all happened, they got in there and they raised it. Okay? So you can imagine what the men must have looked like after 10 days submerged in water. They had to be cut apart to get out. And the reason that they know this was, several years back, they were excavating a cemetery, and they came across a big massive grave with all these cut up bones in it, and they couldn't figure out what it was. They weren't sure, so they started digging around and doing research, and come to find out that was the crew that they had sawed apart, and they threw them just into a big mass grave. So that'll give you a little info as to what those guys were in store for. Those guys must have known that when they were going out that they weren't coming back. All right, so that's a suicide mission, and oh man, brave guys, brave men. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if they were from the north, the south, the east, or west. To do what those guys did, you had to have some cojones. So, and yeah, so I'm going to be drilling rivets for like the next 3 months. When I get done, I'll eventually get back to you. So, don't think I've disappeared. I'm still around. I'm just drilling rivets. But yeah, I just have to find in those plans. I wish I had found those plans before I started doing all this, because there's a bunch of things that are different, and I want to make this accurate. So that's what I'm doing. Tell me what you think. I'm trying not to get them too deep. It's like three good twists on the drill. I'm making those indentations. So, but that's where I am. And yes, I am keeping count. I am keeping count. I'm gonna try to outdo Gary Brinker with he had a model once. I think he said it had 1,000 decals. So I'm gonna see if I can outdo you, Gary. See how many rivets we got here. So, but that's where I am, boys. And shout out to Mr. Mini Dreams. He had a live chat on tonight that I came across and hung around for a while and watched, and he gave me a nice shout out. And I'd like to say thank you. And if any of you guys that watch me don't know about him, Mr. Mini Dreams, go check him out. He's a younger guy, and he's doing some good stuff over there, so go check him out. So, with that being said, boys, back to drilling. Peace out.